what's going on?
Mitch, man, just checking in. How's the card art episode?
Dude, you see that photo I sent you?
I literally have no idea what that is. It's trash. I've seen Lonzo shoot better than you draw. I don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah, dude, this is for the card art episode.
Okay, but dude, you're not supposed to be doing the art. You know that, right?
So I don't have to make any art.
Dude, you're supposed to be interviewing Tony. Tony's the card art guy, not you.
Well, dude, you could have told me that. I've been making art all day, dude.
You may have an art degree, but it's not working for you.
Well, dude, I'm gonna sell this.
Dude, this is absolutely ridiculous. I've left you in charge for like a month and a half. You know, I thought you could have this.
Dude, it's a 101. We can sell it on our website.
Red Cape Sports is starting to drown. You know what, man? I gotta go.
All right. I'll work on the interview tonight. This looks pretty good. Hey everybody, Mitchell Bouchard here, and we're here today with Tony Bianchini. Is that the way you say it?
Yep.
There you go. So we're going to be talking about card art. So if you don't know, there's a really cool project, and can you tell our subscribers kind of what you've been up to and why you decided to go this route with cards?
Sure. I've been a card collector since 1986. Probably had about 30,000 cards in my closet. You know, some of them got trashed in when I moved from house to house, but I always kept the good cards. And then since about, I stopped collecting from probably 2000 to 2012, and like everybody else got back into it, and I've been collecting ever since. Really got into card art because Project 2020 really spoke to me, and I reached out to a couple artists on the Facebook group and introduced myself and said, hey, I got 20 years of PR experience working with a lot of different companies, and I love sports cards, and I'm connected with the community, and I can help you, gain entry to that community, tell people about your art, and then it just took off from there. Met Blake Jameson, one of the 2020 artists, and started working with him to help his business out, get awareness out for his art. And then we partnered together on cardart.com, which I think is a new way to look at sports cards. I think even me, you get sports cards, you rifle through them and see where autos and relics and parallels, and you put the rest of the cards in a box. And we want people to look at card art. So we're trying to bring a different perspective to regular sports cards and make them exciting to look at. And I like to compare them to like 1980s sports flicks where they look different from every angle.
Okay, so what do you mean by different angles? So if you guys don't know, we're going to have a link in the description below. So you can check out cardart.com. So it's going to be the website. We'll have the, the exact URL. So when you talk about the angles and stuff,
sure.
I know that there's really cool cards that are, there's painting on them. There's one-on-one autos, stuff like that.
Yep.
What else can you do with them?
So all of the cards are like one-of-one collectibles. You want to own what other people don't own. And a lot of people collect, have their private collections. I collect Don Mattingly. I have 2,500 different Don Mattingly cards. And I want like different cards that everybody else doesn't have. So just to answer your question, I think the cards look different at every angle. It really depends on the artist that we're working with. Here's a Ricky Henderson card that one of our artists, Mr. Shake, did. And you'll see that you can't see it right now, but it's the Ricky Henderson Kodak card. And the more you put it in the light, you can see the actual film right here.
That's cool.
Cards to get the angle. So that was done by Mr. Shake. This is a card done by Heavy J. It's kind of like a rap and entertainment card with Josh Gibson on it and rappers from the 80s. And it's hard to see now, but it's shiny from every angle. Here's a card that Blake did, Blake Jameson.
I saw that one. That one's online, right? Isn't that online?
Go to cardart.com. Real easy to remember. It's just 7 letters, CARDART.
Yeah, we're gonna have that up on the screen for sure.
Yep. Here's like a Wade Boggs metal card, and Blake painted like a stencil on it, and it's a shiny card. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but like you hold it up to the light and you look at it from this angle or this angle, and it kind of has a different perspective, and you can see different things in the card. And I think people don't really look at your baseball cards. You really look at the photos on your baseball cards, because that photography is art too, but you're not looking at the art. And most baseball cards are pitchers pitching and hitters hitting. And so we're trying to bring a different perspective to that.
That's actually very true, because there's a couple of Tatis cards, and there's one, like typically the best cards that I like in baseball, they either do something creative with the card, like Tatis, I think of his Topps Chrome. It's horizontal, and that elevates the card. In a chrome, it looks cool.
Yep.
But there's also, yeah, you're right. A lot of the cards, they're kind of like the same pose. And I think like even with basketball, we've seen like whether it be like, because I'm a huge Zion guy, but like, the optic where he's cuddling the ball, it's not that cool. Whereas the prism, he's at least doing an action shot.
Yep.
So that's really cool. That's smart, because like I'm even looking at, like a mint card, but this is an Eric card. Like this is a cool card.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's
like
shiny and different, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the poses are kind of similar. So what else are you finding that you can do with cards? Not just paint over it, but like, are you guys cutting the card? Are you?
Absolutely. So we have, Blake Jameson is painting the cards, putting stencils on them. Then we have artists like Mr. Shake, where this is a Ronald Acuna. I like to call it the bunny ear card.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep. And so, this is
that's funny.
From another card. This is from another card. And some of our artists are cutting up cards and putting them together. Here's Todd Clark. This is one that's not on the website yet, but this is a Mike Trout card. And this is like, he handcrafted this card. Spent hours cutting out things, pasting, putting them together, and making like just a really cool looking card.
So to my eye, like it looks like a printed card, but there's like depth to that card. Like they're cutting and doing things that you wouldn't normally see.
Yep. Yeah,
that's
this is
okay.
About 130, 180 point case. We got here's a guy that this is Matt Burke, and he is a wood craftsman, and he puts little wood borders around all the cards. Just looks really interesting and different.
But that's legit wood. It's not even like a print anymore. Yeah. That's like,
this is almost like cherry wood and like little scraps he had in his wood shop, and he said, "Let me create baseball card borders," and now he's up on our site.
So you're almost synergizing like physical, like things with the traditional card almost. Like that's really cool.
Yep. Here's a Nolan Ryan.
Dan
Baumfeld did, and it's like many different poses put together in one. So just really, really cool stuff. Then we have Hollywood Desai, who makes his cards from scratch. Here's a Travis Porter card.
So how did he make that from scratch? Like what?
He's just an artist that has a great hand, and he drew it, and he knows Travis Porter and the band, and he got them to sign it, and they loved the card. They couldn't believe that they had their own entertainment sports card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's actually really cool, because like even when I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's cool to see the art. I've seen, the paint on the cards, the autographs, but to actually add layers to the card like that is really cool. Yeah. So what sports do you have currently? Because I'm going to show screenshots as well.
Great. We started off just doing baseball, and then we expanded it the month after to basketball cards, football cards. We had a few hockey cards up there, and then we were doing entertainment cards too. So we had some wrestling cards. We had Stranger Thing cards. I had a Marilyn Monroe card. I had Blake paint the Pope card from one of the top.
Going controversial there.
Yeah. So I said, I hope I don't go to hell for this. Like the famous I think it was 91 Topps Bart Giamatti card, the commissioner, and that's up on the website too. So that was something different.
Well, that's really unique. That's really cool. So what other projects are you involved where like how do you connect with these artists, like to be on board with this? Is that something where you've had it where they're kind of hesitant at first and then they start realizing that they can be really creative, or what?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned at the start, I approached Blake Jamieson, I approached F. who were Project 2020 artists, and said, I have 20 years of experience doing PR. And it was PR for big companies, like companies that were building transmission lines or cleaning up the environment, or companies that were involved in healthcare or the chemical industry, and just, develop my PR and writing skills that way. And like I said, I've always been a collector. And so I kind of combined the two together and helped both Blake and F. to increase their print runs in the Project 2020 cards, got more people to know about them that way. And then it just kind of went from there. We're now working with Paul Jennis, who does the Topps game within the game. And he brings a different style to it with high quality oil paintings that look really realistic. And then there have been a few other artists that I've chatted with, and I tell them, like, hey, this is what I did for these other artists, and I can help you out too. And here's the proof, and tell them about card art at the same time.
Yeah, no, I'm really impressed. Like, I've been on the website. I have it on my other monitor here too. What I was gonna say is, when is the first Zion card art coming out? Because I'm madly interested in that.
Yeah, I know you are. Well, a lot of the cards are cards that we pull out of boxes, and some are my cards too. So I keep all the Zions. I showed you some of my Zions before.
Yeah.
But I will make sure that you get the first Zion that we do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. So, in terms of the future of what you're seeing with card art, what else are you guys doing? Like, are you gonna just continue what you're doing now, or is there kind of a new thing that you're seeing, a new opportunity?
So it was really interesting with Project 2020. I think it reminded a lot of people of their passions. So I think that I've heard from more than 20 to 30 artists. Yeah. More than 20 to 30 people that said, hey, I love art. I used to do art earlier in my life, and people pushed me off that career path and told me to do other things and frankly, get a real job, and they got pushed off of their love of art.
It's hard to monetize creativity. That's why it can be.
I mean, I'm a writer from birth, and I totally agree with that statement.
I'm a video guy, so social media didn't exist when I was talking about going to college, university, and all that. So,
I mean, when I was in high school, I was a sports reporter. I was on the sideline of my high school football team. I used to go to different schools and write about sports. In college, I did the same thing. And then a couple years into college, I was like, okay, should I go into public relations, or should I stay with my love of sports writing? And what I love about now is that my life has come around full circle. And like, now this is my passion because I love cards. And, I got like so many media hits and Beckett and ESPN and Athletic, and I literally cried when I got Beckett out of the mailbox, because I remember when I was a kid collecting Beckett and going to the mailbox, and now like I was able to get on the cover. And Paul Jennis is going to have his Jackie Robinson on the cover of Beckett this month. Wow. And there's a big article in there about the community that we've created on Facebook and how people are like following the art process and feeling involved. And I'm totally going to cry again when that comes out in the mail, because like, it's just like a dream come true to be involved in something like this, when I was involved in other kinds of PR that paid the bills and, helped me raise my family, but wasn't really a passion for me.
Yeah, I like that. Like, even when we started like Red Cape Sports, it was really because I remember I was at I was at Timmy's with my brother, and they had Tim Hortons cards. And my brother's like, oh, I'm selling them on eBay. Like, I'm flipping them on eBay, Bird. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, let's do this. So I bought some cards. Then I was like, where are my Pokemon cards? Then I'm like, I love this Zion guy. He's big. Everybody's saying how bad he is, or he's gonna be a bust. And I'm like, so I sold silver and I bought Zion. And then I went 100% into like cards, which was smart at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. Like, it's kind of like there's a lot of nostalgia involved with cards, right? Like, just cards in general. Like you said, we like showing people our cards, right? It's like,
absolutely.
I don't think it's much different than like showing somebody like a child. Like you're like, oh, like look at my card, take care of it. Like
Yeah, I mean,
there's something very rooted in human nature when you have a card you like. Like what's the card for you that you have that the money that has nothing to do with the value of the card, you know?
well, I mean, I love my Don Mattingly collection. I definitely went into Project 2020 trying to collect every card, so I have all the base cards, and I'm missing one artist proof of that. But my babies are like my 2011 Mike Trout update PSA 10, and
That's nice.
my PSA 10 '89 Fleer glossy Griffey. And I got that, like, I go to my card store every week, and he used to have, before COVID, he had an auction, and I bought the whole glossy set for like $40. I sent the Griffey to PSA, and it came back at 10, and that card is worth way more than $40 now.
Dude, that's Griffey. I mean, he's probably undervalued now too, especially because, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of attention on him. So it's not like he's that old in terms of he's not Babe Ruth old. So that's pretty cool. Like Griffey's big. Griffey's like, he was the baseball player of baseball players during his prime. Like,
I mean, people love the hype, right? They love to invest in the hype, and that maybe somebody will be a Hall of Famer one day. But Ken Griffey is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
and that people find that, I think, boring.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he's also known to have the card of the over. He's the junk wax card, right? Arguably, that I forget what card number, but that's the junk wax card, unfortunately.
Yep.
Which it's been selling well. Like cards have been selling well, right? Like, anyways, I did want to ask though, what do you see for the future of cards, just sports cards in general, for the next year until the end of 2021? Where do you see it heading?
So, kind of a follow-up on the answer I gave before. You know, people started realizing their love of art, and they started, you know, they were inside having nothing else to do during COVID, and they started putting together cards. And, you know, Blake and I launched cardart.com in August, and we started seeing all these different people post their card art online and just sharing what they're doing, and just people like were so blown away with it because they've seen stuff that they haven't ever seen before. And I think you see with Project 2020, it just had such an influence not only on individual people that were making the art, but also collectors. Last year, I didn't have any art on my wall, and now I have like 10 Don Mattingly paintings in my office, but done by different artists, different prints and originals that I didn't have anything on the wall before. And now, like, I have an appreciation of art that I never had before. And I think a lot of other collectors are seeing that too. You're seeing collectors on Facebook that are collecting like different art prints that have nothing to do with sports because they like the artist and were introduced to the artist through the project. So that's where I see it going.
Yeah, I never even, like, when I was a kid, when I used to have Pokemon cards, for example, I was heavy into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! That was like life. That and Beyblades, whatever. But like, I never saw that stuff as art. I always saw it as like a cool thing, but maybe I just didn't realize it was art. Do you think when we're a kid, it's really the like, I mean, there's something about the image of, honestly, just Charizard. It's ingrained in your head as a kid. Kids today, they won't even realize how big Pokemon was at schools. They had to ban it. They banned Pokemon at my school specifically because it took over people's emotions. Kids were stealing cards. Like every step you would go through a hallway, kids would have a binder of cards, and you know, like it's big. Like you can't. I mean, I actually sold this card on eBay, but you can't mess with Pikachu. Like this is like I look at this, it's like looking at a Superman logo or something. It's very, I don't know.
So I have 3 kids, and I can tell you that they don't like sports cards, despite what their dad likes. And they love Pokemon cards, and they love like playing Roblox. And I think it's because just sports cards are not exciting to look at. I show them the card art, and they think it's super cool. They have a few in each of their rooms because it's something different, and it's like exciting for them to look at. And It's a great visual.
I think maybe sports cards, like specifically baseball cards, I think it's more for like 20 to 50, I think, right?
Yep.
Like it hits the emotions when you're a bit older because you understand what the athlete's doing. Maybe you've played the sport and you really understand how good they are, right? Do you think that's true? That Pokemon's more younger typically in terms of if it's nostalgic?
I think it has to do a lot with price too, where like you see like the hobby's all about investors and about the cards are expensive now. Even if you want to buy a pack, it's way more expensive than we were kids.
Sure.
And that's definitely like we mentioned nostalgia before. Like that's one theme that I've heard so many people talk about in the last year is that they got back into collecting. They remembered collecting cards with their dads, and now they're sharing the hobby with their kids. And that's like the best part of it, that they're sharing this love, like this joint love of something, and like spreading it out to their kids like they had with their parents when they were kids.
So do you see that with, like you said, with your kids, like they do like some cards which are more like Pokemon cards? If you just took their cards away from them, what would happen?
I mean, I don't think they're that serious about their Pokemon cards. They have their binders, but they're more preoccupied with their screens these days, and instead of the physical stuff. And that's why I think NFTs are like so exciting, because you can still. We were talking about this the other day. Like, what's the difference between me sending you pictures of my 5 Zion cards or having an NFT? It's the same exact thing.
Especially in a social distance world too, right? Like physical art. I mean, it's not that it's obsolete. It's just if you can make digital art fungible, which is what NFTs are effectively doing, and you're just making the whole thing like it's like money, right? Like, why carry around cash when you can send cryptos and send it peer to peer and all that? Like, it's crazy, right? So, I don't want to talk about our project, like the project we were talking about for Red Cape Sports, because guys, we're going to be launching something and we're going to talk about it when it's ready, when the time comes. But what are you doing currently with NFTs, and where do you see it headed?
So like everybody else, I tried to get the first Tops drop, and there was some issues with it, but I kept at it. I've been educating myself about NFTs for a good 6 months, and it's definitely a tough industry to get in, just to figure out like how to set up your MetaMask wallet or your Coinbase wallet, how to send money from here to here, what the gas fees are, and they take a huge chunk out of everything. And so like educating yourself about is the first thing. Compared
to like physical cards, do you believe that physical cards will take a huge hit because of NFTs?
I think there's place for both that. Like I was
saying, it'll be both, right?
Yeah, I was seeing a conversation on Facebook today where some people didn't understand what the NFTs were, and then another guy who hasn't working on NFTs like understands and is trying to explain it to everybody.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
Everyone, some people build sets, some people PC a certain player, some people PC a certain team, and it's like just all how you collect. I think there's room for everything. And I just think people that don't understand NFTs just have to educate themselves on it. And like it's a really young industry that has a lot of ways to mature, and I don't think it's hit the general public yet. I probably couldn't explain it to my grandparents if they were alive. Like there was different technologies back then too. I always talk to my PR clients like you have to be in all different kinds of vehicles, because there's baby boomers that are still reading the print newspaper. There's Gen X like me that's just getting their news from the websites or Twitter. And then my kids are like, what the hell is Facebook? I'm on TikTok all the time getting my news. So like NFTs is the next thing after that. And then there's going to be many things after that too.
See, that's probably the one thing I'm kind of fortunate in, is that I've always been interested in physical things and technology, which has helped. Because like I said, we recovered some old cryptos, but like, just having like a Trezor wallet and being able to like understand cryptos, that really, when I first heard about NFTs, I'm like, this sounds ridiculous. But then when you talk about it in terms of blockchain technology, the fungibility of it, and by the way, for subscribers watching, just go on YouTube and watch as many videos as possible to educate yourself on what a Bitcoin wallet is and what fungibility is. That will help you a lot, I think, right? In blockchain technology, it's because it's all working together. It's kind of like video, where video has always been cool, but video is so hot right now because we have a place to put it. It wasn't like that 10 years ago.
And
right?
just
like this couldn't happen 10 years ago. Not this effectively,
Not on flip phones.
Not on a webcam, like at decent resolution and with a fast internet connection. Like, you remember dial-up? Like, I'm sure, like,
you have mail.
Yeah.
And so, like, with the Topps NFTs, I missed it because everybody was trying to get it at the same time. So that says something about it, that the site wasn't working because there were so many people trying to get it, right? And then, like, I went on Atomic Hub and I bought a premium pack. It was going for $100 on Topps, and then the premium pack went up, and I bought it when it was $300, and then it went up to $1,000, and it's gone down a little bit since then. And I bought like 5 or 6 packs that were like $5. They went up to like $30, so I bought them. I opened them. It was fun to open them, but then I went to find like the different rare rookie cards that I like, and like just bought them. And you could see like the value of them going up and down. They're not bent, or their corners aren't messed up, or they're not cut.
Yeah.
And I have a marketplace that's better than eBay and can tell me like what other people have bought it for, and I can guarantee that when I buy it and hit buy, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to have to worry about the seller sending it to me and dealing with people that might not be on the up and up. So,
well, it's almost like even like the smart like that. I mean, I don't even want to dive into that conversation, but you're right. Like the fact that actually one of the biggest problems I had was, so I started buying up all these sports cards, and I ended up putting in $100, $200. Then I started buying the $1,000 cards. Then I'm looking, like, I remember being in my room and I'm like, oh my God, like somebody could just come in here and take like all my cards. Like I could lose 10 grand in 10 seconds. So like, then like, where do you put it? Like, you got to get a safe. You got to like find a place to put things. Whereas NFTs is digital. It's on the blockchain. And not only is it it's easy for you or I to just see what somebody has and to confirm it. But in terms of owning it, it's quick too. Like there's a lot of good things. And the other thing you were talking about, you don't have to print the card either. So your card's going to be a PSA 10, so to speak, right?
Last year I bought Luka Prism rookie, and I think it was like $400. And then 3 months later, we were going on vacation, and I sold that card and paid for vacation. And like, that's definitely something that people have to think about. Like, Luka could get hurt tomorrow and that card won't be worth anything.
Yeah.
But that can happen with any player. So I definitely try to invest in like players that are proven, and sometimes that's more boring, but
yeah. I remember when I first it's timing though, like you said, right? Like, you buy a card, even though like it's a good pick, timing has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I told you, I recovered some cryptocurrency. It's because I bought it early. Like, had I bought in Bitcoin, 10 years ago, or when it first came out, like I'd probably have millions of dollars, but that's because you gotta hold it, right? Yeah. We wouldn't be talking. I'd be on some boat doing crazy things. Let's be honest. I'd be in Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, honestly, I'd be crazy, man. Like, I hope I don't get rich. I'd make a lot of mistakes. Have you ever experienced fraud in cards? Have you ever had like fake cards being sold to you or anything? Altered cards?
I don't think I've ever had fake cards sold to me. I think grading companies like PSA and Beckett are really important, because like when I got engaged to my wife, I bought her a ring, and there is a whole science around grading the ring and the type of diamond, and it's more expensive if it's a better diamond. Same thing with cards. So I think those things are really important. That's why, you don't know what a raw card's going to be graded at. you're just hoping that it's great. Everyone thinks it's going to be a PSA 10. I know I had a Jeter, a 93 SP rookie, and I was like, this is a 10. And I sent it to the experts at PSA, and they said it was a 6. And every grade is a different price. And I think that having the grading companies is extremely important. And you see that they're so busy because people they're sending them thousands of cards to legitimize how much the card is worth by what the grade is.
Yeah, that's true. I actually looked into that because I'm like, dude, like why are diamonds so legit? And then you find out how you get them, where they come from, and like, oh man, the whole blood diamond story, like that's interesting. But that's a good example of people willing to pay a lot of money for something that means so much. It's kind of like, to have,
another thing, it legitimizes it. When you think about it, a diamond is just a rock, a baseball card is just a piece of cardboard. People were selling dirt from the old Yankee Stadium, but it was from the old Yankee Stadium, so that dirt had a value, which is crazy. I never bought the dirt, but all of these things are raw materials that there has to be a market for, and somebody to legitimize what that thing is valued at. Remembering back when you were a kid, like, I think that's one of the reasons Stranger Things is such a popular show, because it has so much 80s nostalgia in it, and it makes people remember when they were a kid, just like collecting baseball cards. We have about 6 or 7 different artists. We're trying to introduce a new artist every month that's selling one-of-one collectible cards. And we're not trying to oversaturate the market. So there's between 20 to 50 different cards every month of different players. And I hope you visit the site.
I'm waiting for the Zion personally, because I don't collect a lot. Like, my PC is pretty small, but I got like my Austin Matthews and Zion. Like, that's basically all I have. And I'm working on getting the Jordan. So, but I'm definitely going to be checking those out as well. So everybody, don't forget, we also have a Facebook group called @RedCapeSports there. You can share, post all of your trading cards, and also ask us questions there. So we will see you guys in the next episode.